Welcome to Old Dog, Young Bull. Old school meets new wave as Joe Old Dog Mays and Charlie Young Bull Forrester deliver a multimedia discussion of all things sports. Now settle in as Joe and Charlie come strong here on Old Dog, Young Bull. Welcome back to the land of books and indulgences. We are Old Dog, Young Bull, broadcasting live from the Patchouli Podcast Studio here in the heart of Denton, Texas, at Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences. You can see behind me all of the books, not all of the books, but there are a lot of books. How you doing, Charlie? Good to see you, man.
Doing good. The smell of Christmas is in the air. Nice evergreen candles burning around. Some solid wintry vibes happening, and we're getting to crunch time football. So all is well in the world.
Amen to that. Yeah, it is definitely a little brisk out there. Light jacket time here in North Texas, but we are moving toward possible snow next week. So
yeah, and we already had a couple of snow games in the NFL and NCAA schedule, and that you know it's getting to crunch time football whenever there's snow on the ground and teams playing with a lot more energy than they were back in September, early October.
yeah, I remember those September, October games in Jacksonville. It was generally mid-November before things were cool enough inside the bank. TIAA, back then it was Everbank. It was brutal. But this time of year, it's lovely. And when there's snow on the ground in Orchard Park, you know it is NFL crunch time football, as you said.
Quick little caveat. Which geography needs dome stadiums more, the South or the North?
That is, I think that is what is referred to as a false dilemma.
Okay, fair.
It is not an either or situation. I think they each need domes for different reasons. Although you can't put a dome on Lambeau. I think putting a dome on in Buffalo would be sacrilege. I mean,
okay, so what I'm hearing you say without saying is it should be more in the South than in the North.
I think that's fair. Having gone to Raiders games when it's a little sweaty outside, it's real nice to slide into that 72 degrees. And
you have like the Raiders, you have the Cardinals, Cowboys, Saints, Falcons. They're all in domes, and probably for good reason, because it's quite miserable. But then you have your teams that like the Jaguars, like you talked about,
Miami,
which Miami's kind of like a hybrid. They have all but a dome. Everything around it is domed, but then they leave a square block in the middle.
Yeah, and they let, when it's raining, they just let the visiting team get pummeled, and
which is wild. But little caveat.
Yeah, I would. I think I guess you'd pin me down. I think it's more important to have them in the South than it is in the North. I like good winter football. One of my all-time favorite football memories was playing a game. I can't remember who we were playing. I want to say Sembach, but that is not correct. It was one of the other high schools. Landstuhl, maybe. I don't remember. Anyway, it was freezing rain. The face masks, the wind was blowing so hard, the rain's coming down horizontally. It's freezing. So we had like daggers of ice coming in our face masks. At halftime, we were so soaking wet and so cold, we just went in full pads in the hot showers just to warm up, which didn't take long to then refreeze once we went out for the third quarter. But God, we had to do something. That was one of my more memorable football games.
Yeah, it's football weather.
Yes, it is. And we are there. Now, unfortunately, it is not NFL football game picking weather, apparently. We had an ugly week this past week, Charlie. We both went 7-7.
Hey, the NFL is any given Sunday. And there are some teams playing spoilers right now, and other teams that are imploding. But I guess that's me just trying to cope with my 7-7 week.
Yeah, but you're right. And when we get into the weekly picks, there's several games that kind of surprised me. There were a couple of surprise slow picks, slow games, surprise line of the week. Um, but yeah,
But
there's
like Tennessee beating Cleveland?
yeah. Wait, no, I'm talking about the picks for this coming week.
Oh, for
The
this coming
lines for
week.
this
Oh,
week.
okay. I thought we were talking about surprisers of last week.
No.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on my 7-7 week.
Yeah, we are both still hovering right around just a little over 620 for the year, 62%. So we're still below our target of 650. Still within range. You are 128 and 78. I am 126 and 76, having used my DNC cards early in the season. We should have set a limit on how many DNCs, do not cares, or ADCs.
Maybe I'm holding out until if I can just get a little bit better percentage points and then start throwing them in there.
Yeah, play those in week 17 and 18. That's definitely the smart line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is before we dive into the NFL, any other sports news? Are you sold on Cooper Flag in um American Airlines?
I think you're starting to see Cooper Flag get into his own, like we talked about last week. Him playing more the four instead of playing that point forward kind of role, is a lot better. Um, but golly, like the Mavs just they're directionless. Um, there's a good amount of the fan base that wants to turn the page on Anthony Davis.
Hmm?
But it's like trading a player where his value is at the lowest, where he just got traded for a top three player in the NBA. Um, but yeah, it, to keep AD, you have to essentially cave to his demands. He wants to play the four more than the five, um, but better basketball is played whenever he plays the five.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
so
that's been his whole career. He's been like that.
yeah, and now there's like a max extension that he is eligible for at the end of this year. The Mavs have not made any movement on that. So if they wait until the end of the year, um, that is going to create um, a situation where the Mavs just have to potentially sell him for pennies on the dollar or back up the Brinks trucks for a
Could,
player that has played, I think, 30% of the games that he has been able to play for the Mavs.
is he UFA at the end of the year? Can he walk?
No, so he is a player option.
Got it.
And he would be very stupid not to take that player option.
Sure.
Um,
Do they
because
move?
essentially you're losing out on $30 million, and he's not going to do that.
Are they going to move him before the trade deadline, you think?
I mean, I think so.
I think that's the best way they're going to be able to get anything in return for him without just
Yeah,
letting
but
him walk on his terms.
my concern for that is that will completely lose the locker room. And the locker room, I'm meaning arguably the best player on that Mavs team, that is still nursing an injury, and that's Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
So if they move off of him and kind of go into a different direction, I think that also is going to spell bad news for a player that is really good whenever he is enjoying his time in an organization and can be a complete menace whenever it comes to teams that has fallen out of grace with. So, yeah, it's a bad spot to be in for the Mavs. And yeah, Cooper Flag is great. I think they found something in Nimhard, but they would be in a better position if they decided to kind of go full tank and tear down the old contracts, get rid of Klay Thompson, get rid of Anthony Davis. And if Kyrie gets healthy and he doesn't want to be there, then get rid of that contract and just try
Build
to,
around Cooper.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we don't have any draft picks after this year. This is like the last year that we're going to have a first round pick for, I believe, the next 5 years.
Yeesh.
So you got to recuperate some sort of draft capital, and also set yourself up to be able to pay players in free agency. But it's always been a struggle. So the draft is probably the smartest thing to focus on. But of course, the Mavs are operating with no true GM at the moment.
Right. Well, some would say that they haven't been operating with a true GM for a couple of years now. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the Nico fans in the crowd.
yeah. Is somewhere sitting in a suite in Los Angeles. I got a feeling it's Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
Um, because you can't convince me that he wasn't an undercover agent for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, that is one of the one of the theories being floated about, primarily by you, but it is fair. I'll give it to you.
Hey,
That
I'm
with the connections that he has in LA, wouldn't be horribly surprised to find out that was a thing.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Without diving too much because I'm ill prepared, I just know that the Stars are sitting in second place in the Central Division at 31-21. They are kind of picking up where they left off last year. Golden Knights are a little bit lagging behind. They've just played fewer games, but or excuse me, the Stars are 21-5, and the Knights are 14-6 and yeah, what the hell is that right? That can't be right. Yeah, they're sitting 14-6.
Arguably the only Dallas team that has not traded their best player in the year of 2025. There's rumors. It hasn't happened yet. Could potentially be in the works. Of course, right now is MLB winter meetings. And so the Red Sox and Rangers have discussed a deal centering around Corey Seager.
Oh,
So if the Rangers trade Seager, Cowboys already traded Parsons, Mavs already traded Luca. The Stars could be sitting as the only team in Dallas not to trade their star player. So if I was Miko Rantanen, I would be concerned. But luckily, the only undysfunctional organization in Dallas is the Stars.
yeah, go figure. And they keep sort of showing up in the playoffs year after year, and
Not only
yeah,
that, but making it far in the playoffs too.
yeah, exactly. And they are just absolutely a fun team to watch. Again, you as we've discussed, having grown up in California, it wasn't a huge. We didn't. This was back before the Sharks, San Jose Sharks, and the LA Kings existed in California. Hockey was one of those things that happened in faraway land like Narnia or Oz or someplace like that.
Or
Just
Canada.
oh yeah, or it's the same thing. Isn't that Oz?
I mean, essentially, kind of.
Yeah, that was just kind of one of those things that I looked at from afar, and um, in hindsight, that I think that would have been one of the sports I really would have enjoyed playing when I was a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, so on to the NFL. We are, as you said, into the meat of it. We're down to 4 weeks left. What, 15, 16, 17, 18? Yeah.
Yeah.
4 weeks left. No more buys. The 49ers, I still contend, got one of the more advantageous bye weeks, getting their bye week in week 14.
Is that advantageous?
It was for them given the injuries that they had, but the fact that they were able to hang in there through those injuries, then at this point in the season with only 4 games left, they got an extra week of rest. I think that was a huge win for them. Yeah, but what do you think? Was that
Yeah, I don't know. I think before the season, looking at it, I thought it was criminal to have a bye week this late.
me too?
They definitely took advantage and didn't really seem to slow down. But having to grind that long um, and essentially have to pick it back up with 4 weeks left of a season, that's that's a tall task. But again, the 49ers are sitting in pretty good position with where they're at in the standings to be able to make a push, and maybe it gives them some fresh legs coming out the bye week. But you really want to be hitting a stride the closer you get to the playoffs, and especially whenever you're in such a competitive division like the NFC West. You would hope that you were more kind of hitting a stride uh,
Than getting interrupted
than
like that.
getting to have to restart. But that's just where the cookie crumbles, and we'll see how it goes forward.
Well, and I think we're going to see sort of the other side of that coin. We've got the Patriots sitting at 11-2 on a 10 game heater. They won 10 in a row, sitting at 11-2. They are surprisingly not the 1 seed in the AFC, but
Criminal.
they also had a bye this past week, so we should get a chance to find out if the bye this late helps or if that interrupts. I could see in and it may again vary from team to team with the 49ers who are still bouncing back from a lot of injuries, particularly on the offensive line, and um, I think they've got most of their defensive guys back that they're going to getting Brock Purdy back healthy for the final run. I think this was advantageous for them. For the Patriots, I could see this being potentially more of a interruption in their flow. Although I think, given the physical pounding, I've got to believe that a week off any time is helpful. But um, this is yeah, one of the good weeks. When we get into the picks again, we'll dive into that. I've got some there's some good games we're looking at this week.
Oh, definitely.
And like I said, this one is the uh, Patriots at the Bills. Yeah, they're
Hmm.
going to Orchard Park.
Think
Oh,
so.
no,
Are they going
it's
to
the other way
Foxborough?
around. Yeah, um, Buffalo's going to Foxborough. Let me hang on. I'm looking at the wrong week here. No wonder I can't find them. Yeah, they're going to Buffalo, going to New England. Buffalo favored on the road. Behind, yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that too.
Well, you
Uh,
want to talk about another team that's on a streak? That's the Bills, and um, God, you want to talk about this last week? The one game that drove me absolutely insane was that Bengals Bills game.
right.
Essentially, the Bengals were looking like they were going to pull the upset all the way until like the last three drives for the Bengals, and two costly interceptions by Joe Burrow put the Bills in position to win the ball game. And um, yeah, the Bills. That's just kind of how the season has gone.
Yeah, they've been kind of all over the place, but this just feels like Buffalo Bills football time of year. This is Josh Allen time of year. They're 2 games behind the Patriots in the AFC East at 9-4. They've got the Patriots this week. Let's see who they finish up with. Um, but yeah, they got the Patriots this week, so they have an opportunity to play catch up. Then they've got
I think they have an Eagles matchup, don't they?
Browns, Eagles, Jets
Yeah.
after this week. So they could, depending on which Eagles team shows up, they're
Hopefully they run the board.
it's at home against the Eagles. So Eagles are having to travel up to Foxborough on that. At the Browns at home versus the
Oh,
Jets.
you mean Orchard Park instead of Foxborough?
Yeah, what I said Foxborough. Yeah,
Yeah.
Orchard Park. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they're positioned to possibly run the table, which would put them at if they win this week. Well, taking this week off the
That'd
table,
be like 12-4, wouldn't it?
12-4 plus whatever happens this week against New England. New England finishes up at home. Sorry. Yeah, at home versus the Bills. They go on the road to the Ravens, on the road to the Jets, and then at home versus the Dolphins. So they too are in kind of a position where the Bills have their work cut out for them if they're going to try and catch up with the Patriots at this point in the season.
Only one playoff team on that stretch, and that's this week.
Yeah, yeah, because Buffalo or the Baltimore Ravens,
Imploding.
yeah, lost 2 in a row. They're sitting at 6-7. Steelers smiling happy, top of the division at 7-6. Cincinnati still not eliminated. Cleveland has been eliminated, but Cincinnati, the entire rest of the NFL would have to collapse for the Bengals at 4-9 to sneak into the playoffs, but mathematically not officially eliminated yet.
I just feel like the Bengals are going to be one of those teams that plays spoilers for some teams.
Yep. With
Um,
Burrow back, they've got some. Yep.
yeah,
I am.
defense is kind of rounding into shape. Um, I mean, they're definitely not a great unit, but yeah, they haven't looked as bad as they looked early in the season. So
Yeah. Getting Burrow back, of course, is a game changer. Ravens getting Lamar back, sort of expected the same thing from them. Seen a few bursts of that, but now they're on a 2-game losing streak, dropping down behind Pittsburgh. Expected once Lamar came back to see that same spark that we're seeing in Cincinnati with Burrow. just not consistently there. I don't think Lamar's 100%. So yeah, I don't.
I hate to be the one that draws comparisons, but um, yeah, a mobile quarterback that essentially gets dealt with some pretty rough injuries, um, and then has to become a pocket passer and gets exploited. It's a little Mike Vick esque.
Yeah,
And the longer it goes with his athleticism starting to come into question, it's going to be interesting to see how Lamar does age in the NFL.
yeah, and I like his pocket presence. I love his arm. I love his accuracy. So I think he's got the tools to make that transition. I just his mindset is so attack, attack, attack. It may be a little difficult. He's also going to lose some of the lateral movement in the pocket, which is going to hurt him.
Yeah,
Another
and I
quarterback,
don't think his athleticism is what is causing issues.
right?
I think it's more teams are okay with him running
Hmm.
and actually want him to pass the ball more. So essentially, um, I feel like personally, I know you said accuracy you like, but I don't like his accuracy. I feel like he's one of those quarterbacks that um, the threat of him running is what causes wide receivers to get open a lot.
Okay.
And whenever the receivers are covered, and he has to make those tight window throws, it's either overthrown, underthrown, or just not in the right placement. And it causes a lot of interceptions, and we're starting to see that.
Okay, that's fair. Another quarterback, as we're talking about, Father Time being undefeated with Lamar and teams adjusting to how best to defend against him. How long will Josh Allen be able to continue to do the things that he's doing?
That's fair too.
He's maybe a little more Elway esque, and I know that that sounds like
That's a good
um,
comparison.
um, the pounding that they took, and I would disagree with you on the Michael Vick comparison. Michael Vick never really had the accuracy at all, and he was a little bit more run first. You know who Lamar reminds me of more than Michael Vick is Fran Tarkington from back in the olden
Mm,
days, back in the before times. Um, Bigger guy than Fran was, same type of running with an eye to throwing, take crossing the line of scrimmage with football only as necessary, and doing it effectively when he does. But he reminds me a little bit of Fran Tarkenton, where his mobility was intended to feed the passing game as opposed to just pick up yards on the ground. So,
yeah,
but yeah, Josh Allen. Sorry, back to him.
and two incredible uh, quarterbacks,
Oh yeah,
you know,
certainly.
and Fran Tarkenton and Michael Vick. So it's no disservice to Lamar. It's just more if you can't run the ball as you used to, and you're not the human joystick, um, can defenses kind of key on you?
Another comp, maybe Randall Cunningham.
That's a good comp too.
Again, big runner, bigger guy, like Lamar is, of course, bigger than Fran.
He
So
also had to pivot as well too,
he did.
and kind of go away from the mobile running quarterback.
Yeah, he went from being the mobile running quarterback to being the locker room preacher.
Yep.
He was not the preacher. What's the word I'm looking for? The chaplain for the Raiders for some time. He went, of course, to University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Familiar? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Randall Cunningham's had interesting cat.
Yeah, I know he made at least one stop in Dallas at the very tail end of his career when the Cowboys were going through the quarterback carousel. So
Yeah, scrape some of that Eagles green off of him. That's a good thing for him.
yeah,
Let's move down south real quick. Jacksonville in sole possession of first place at 9-4. I literally had on my Jaguars shirt today. Didn't want to seem like a bandwagon hopper. So I took it off and put on my Denton, Texas shirt today. Um, yeah, Jaguars sitting at 9-4. Houston still holding on. They're at
knocking
eight
on
and
the door.
five. Yeah, the Colts, they're there, and we'll
You
talk
want
talk more about the Colts. They're in a tailspin. They're going a different direction at 8-5 from the
What
Texans.
direction is that? The old retirement center?
Straight down. Yeah, they pulled. I made a post yesterday, and he wrote put with the story of the Colts having signed Philip Rivers 5 years since his last playing days. He retired in 2020, where he played for a year with the Colts. They pulled him back from retirement, signed him to the practice squad. And I posted in related news, the Raiders went back to their old former quarterback of theirs with a photograph of course, George Blanda. Of course, George Blanda died in 2010, so not nearly as funny as if he'd still been alive. But
He
um,
might be the first quarterback to be a grandfather in the NFL
yeah, that's
because, of course, he has 10 children. Um,
that's the cost of not going far in the playoffs when he was with the Chargers. He had way too much time in the offseason on his hands.
he had a child for every playoff disappointment.
Pretty much. That's kind of way his
That's
career
rough.
played out. Houston, they're scrapping. They're staying in the fight. They won. Who'd they beat last week?
Kansas City,
Yeah, took Kansas City down, the Chiefs, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. Some news on them on the Chiefs front. Um,
arguably the best defense in the game, is
yeah,
Houston.
absolutely. Them, Denver, Seattle. We've got some,
That's true.
and they say defense wins championships. Not
Yeah, but if you want to talk about all three teams that have putrid offenses, in my opinion,
okay.
uh, uh,
So you may have to roll the Packers into there too.
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
But Green Bay's defense has not been as dominant as I anticipated them being.
I agree.
Um, not to say they don't have a 12 sack player that Jerry probably should have held on to. But yeah, Green Bay's a little bit more balanced than leaning on a elite defense like a Houston or a Denver.
Denver's the epitome of that.
Yeah,
The Colts are just spiraling down quickly at 8-5. They've lost three in a row. Of course, this year or this past week, they lost Daniel Jones. Indiana Jones is gone for the year with a torn Achilles. He's had the surgery. He is done. Their quarterback room currently is Riley Leonard and Brett Rippon. Leonard is, quote, hopefully ready for week 15 with his knee. He was healthy enough to practice. Rippon was moved from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. And then, of course, Philip Rivers on the practice squad as well at 44 years old. Couple of bits about that. Um, he's been coaching his son's high school team at one of his 12 sons, 15 sons. I bet he can name them all, though.
maybe.
Um, um, he's been running the same offensive system as the Colts all year long for his son's high school team, meeting with Shane Steichen weekly. So to prepare him for the high school team. So understanding the system as he comes into Indianapolis shouldn't be the biggest issue. And at 44, you wouldn't expect understanding the system to be the biggest issue. It's the fact that you're 44 years old.
That's elderly abuse if he gets hit.
Kind of is. If he gets hit, he's going to get hit, and he will talk the cleanest trash in the history of the NFL. That's
That's
kind of
actually true.
his jam. So given that quarterback room, one guy just moved from the practice squad, one guy with a banged up knee, one guy just signed to the practice squad at 44 years old. Who the hell do the Colts start?
Can Michael Pittman throw to himself?
He'd have to. He'd have to be able to.
I think Tyler Warren also could probably throw.
I would just put Tyler Warren in the Wildcat and just let him go to town.
Yeah, and is there any information on Anthony Richardson?
He's IR.
Is he just capped for the year?
Yeah, he's on IR, so he's not back now. Don't know if he's going to come back at all, but I don't remember if he went on the 4-game when he went on the IR. I'd have to look into that.
That's incredible. Yeah, you want to talk about a team that was hitting on all cylinders early in the year,
Poof, gone
and
just like
all of a
that.
sudden they're potentially looking at being on the outside looking in
They
whenever it comes to the playoffs.
they are on the outside looking in. If the
Do
playoffs
they
were to start today, yeah,
Texans own the tiebreak?
yep, they are bumped. They are sitting outside the top 7, yeah.
Sheesh.
Steichen said that, quote, "We're going to go through this week of practice, see how it goes. Then we'll make a decision at the end of the week, probably."
Mm,
Shane, I don't think probably you get to do. You have to make a decision at some point before Sunday. So yeah, the Colts are just not everything that could have gone wrong kind of has gone wrong. Jonathan Taylor's not been top of his game. Defenses have been focused on him with Daniel Jones banged up with that fibula injury. Now, of course, he's gone, and they're going to be starting Kevin the Ball Boy at quarterback this week. So yeah,
at least like Riley Leonard has some sort of like ability to play the position.
if he's
But
healthy.
goodness gracious, if you put Rippin out there, or 98-year-old Philip Rivers, you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, they were just saying Riley's hopefully going to be ready to play this week. Or Riley Leonard was hopefully going to be ready to play. He did practice today, but they don't even know if physically he'll be able to go. So that is a quarterback room that went to hell quickly.
Yeah, abysmal.
Yeah. So anyway, long and short of that, Jacksonville's sitting at 9-4 atop the AFC South, and Houston is nipping at their heels. Good games coming up, I think, between them. Let's see, what do we got going on? Jacksonville has got, bum, bum, bum. They have got the Jets this week, Broncos, Colts, Titans. Yeah, they don't play the Texans. Jags don't play again, so they're going to have to win. They're going to have to catch them the hard way if Texans do it.
Yep.
Out west, of course, my beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Moment of silence for those who have been eliminated from the playoff hunt this year. Good enough. I don't even want to. I don't even know where to start with them, so I won't.
I know where to start.
If
Kenny
we're
Pickett this week.
Yeah, 100%.
That's who we're starting.
Yeah, I haven't seen if Gino's back yet.
I don't think he is.
I've got a week off of fantasy. Speaking of finishing off on strong, finishing the season, I finished on a 8-game heater myself in fantasy football. So
Cooking.
to get the bye this week. Of course, Daniel Jones was my starting quarterback, so I got 0.8 of a point from him this past week, but
Not cooking.
still was able to creep out the win against an almost 9-year-old little girl in Singapore. She was the one who I had to play to clinch the league. So our
Respect.
beloved grandniece that we're not going to get to see this year. Um, well, anyway, Denver. Speaking of 10-game heaters, Denver also has won 10 in a row, sitting at 11-2. What'd you call them last week? The ugliest.
They're the worst 11-2 team. It was 10-2.
Yeah.
But now they're 11-2. Yeah, good for them, but God, they haven't done it in a fashionable way.
Their offense and the thing about it is every week their defense is just dominant. Every week that Bo Nix gets away with being Bo Nix, another week is another week that Sean Payton has a chance to make him better. So every week that he survives and still is winning football games is another hack that Sean Payton has at him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it also helps to be in a division where outside of the Chargers, they're kind of reeling. So it gives Denver the ability to not have to play elite football on the offensive side of the ball.
absolutely. And that's what they've been getting away with. They're finishing up the year against the Packers. And we'll move into the NFC here in a little bit, but they are leading their division. The Jaguars, who are leading their division, they're at Kansas City. You have a team with a chip on their shoulder who's looking to do something, and we'll talk about them in a minute. And then against the Chargers at home. So they're going to have to earn their way to keep their number one seed in the AFC. But yeah, they are. I think this week, and I'll talk a little bit more about that too with Green Bay going to Denver this week. That's going to be an interesting match. So anyway, that's what the AFC looks like. Kansas City, their 9-year run of of AFC West titles officially at a close. They won 9 AFC Wests in a row. Of course, during that time, they won 3 Super Bowls, went to 5 Super Bowls. Um, do they tear
Y-
down and rebuild?
Yeah, you wonder what's going to happen. You wonder what changes are occurring. Their coach, of course, has all the accolades on the wall. I don't know if he has a rebuild in him. I also think that defensive coordinator um, might be the next man in line, but if not, a new system could oust him. So there could be some significant changes occurring in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Of course, the tight end might also hang him up too. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to go ahead and my expectation, my prediction is he will hang him up and just go on, meet his bride in Rhode Island in on June 13th, and they'll just ride off into the sunset. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be with a Super Bowl trophy fresh in their pocket.
And I'd be remiss not to mention the Chargers. Justin Herbert playing through a broken hand, a week after breaking his hand, still coming in and beating a team that's reeling, but of course won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Um, so the Chargers also might have something whenever it comes to the playoffs.
Chargers are sitting 2 games back of the Broncos. The Broncos have something of a I don't know,
Easy schedule.
don't want to call it a no, Denver?
Yeah.
No, Denver's got to take on Jaguars. Um, who'd they have to take
Oh
on?
yeah, they were all the division winners.
Yeah,
Green
they Green
Bay and
Bay. Yep,
oh okay,
and
and
then
Kansas City.
they close out against the Chargers. So the Chargers could very well have uh their fate in their own hands by by week 18. Yeah, they're sitting there sort of sticking around 2 games back at 9-4. So yeah, they just won't go away. Sounds like maybe the Chiefs will.
Yeah.
Going over to the NFC, the Eagles still hanging in there at 8-5. They've lost 3 in a row, still somehow sitting in first place. The Cowboys are still at 500. It's 6-6-1. That tie hanging out there, and I'm going to talk about that tie here in a minute when we go to the North. Washington and Giants are officially out. Do the Cowboys care enough to try and catch the Eagles? The Eagles, I don't know what the hell we're going to get with the Eagles week to week.
I mean, I think the Cowboys care enough. Specifically, the signal caller, I think, cares a lot.
Yep.
Dak, I don't think ever goes into a game wanting to lose. And I think if it wasn't for Philadelphia absolutely imploding, I think the Cowboys would be looking at this season a little bit differently. But it's really the defensive side of the ball that's causing an issue for Dallas.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, for the Eagles, it's the offensive side of the ball that's causing the issue for Philadelphia. So for the Cowboys to just be sitting essentially almost one game out is pretty impressive, considering the absolute dumpster fire that has been this year for the Cowboys. You lose to a team like Arizona, Carolina, um, just absolutely looking like one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. To be one game out of first place in your division is pretty incredible. So, still a lot of football to play, but if Philadelphia picks up 2 more losses and the Cowboys win out, they'll be sitting in first place.
Yeah, Cowboys are sitting their rest of their games. They've got the Vikings this week, of course, on Sunday night.
No,
Monday night. No, this
no
Sunday
Sunday
night.
night.
Sunday
Sorry,
night.
yeah, Sunday night.
So they've got the Vikings. That could be an interesting game. I wouldn't. When do they have to announce the where they shift the shift game or the what do they call it? It's not
The flex game.
flex game.
Yeah, I think that they're already starting to announce the flexing. I know
When do you know when during the week they would have to make that announcement? So I guess that's the thing we should know.
I do not, but I know they already flexed one game, and that was into the Saturday primetime slot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and we've got the Cowboys. They finish up the year. They've of course got the Vikings this week. Then they are you have Chargers at home. Then they go on the road to Washington and the Giants to finish up. Um, Philly, on the other hand, listen to their schedule. They've got the Raiders in Philadelphia this week. They've got the Bills in Week 17 at home. Oh no, excuse me, in Orchard Park,
Mm.
and they play the Commanders twice, home and away, between now and the end of the year. So there, other than the Bills in Orchard Park, that could be figure realistically, you're tagging 3 wins onto that. You're looking at 11-6, worst case for the Eagles. With the Cowboys, depending on what they do with the Chargers, they could end up at 10-6-1.
God, I just need Jaden Daniels to get healthy.
Yeah.
I just really need him to start hitting in all cylinders. Because as much as I want to believe Kenny Pickett can absolutely shock the world and beat his old team, I don't think it's likely. And
Yeah.
I think for the Raiders, I don't even think they want to win, because right now you're sitting at I think the 2 hole whenever it comes to the upcoming draft.
Yep.
And right now wins are losses. So I don't think even Las Vegas, if they're trying to get the best player in the upcoming draft, wants to win these games.
Yeah, right now they're sitting at 2 behind the Giants. The Giants have the Commanders, Vikings.
Same record though, right?
Yeah, they're both 2-11.
Yeah.
They do play each other in Week 17. Yeah,
Ooh,
the
the
Giants.
winner is the loser,
The
and the loser
Giant
is the winner.
Giants go to Las Vegas to finish out the year. So yay, that sounds fun.
Oh, and the one flex game that has occurred, they kicked the Bengals and Dolphins game. Thank goodness. And now that's going to be on the 21st at the noon slot, and they have flexed in the New England Patriots versus the Ravens.
Yeah,
So
could be playoff implications in that one.
I think at least for one team.
Yeah. So the East is still a mess. The Cowboys are going to need some help from the Eagles. Need them to melt down a time or two.
And if you want to watch the dysfunction, the why am I always forgetting it? It's the HBO Hard Knocks is doing an in season
With the
with the
Eagles?
NFC East. No, the NFC
Oh,
East.
ooh.
So it's the entire East. And it's giving good insight to all the dysfunction that is occurring within in the division. So if you like to see the Giants sucking and the Washington Commanders absolutely pissing down their legs, it's good. If you want to see the Philadelphia Eagles kind of rally around an Easter bunny while also losing, it's also good for that. And if you want to see the Cowboys still thinking that they're the shit whenever they're 500, it's also good for that.
So lots to look forward to with HBO's Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Not a sponsor of Patchouli Joe's book or of the Old Dog Young Bull podcast. That sponsorship slot is held by Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences. Expand your mind, indulge your senses at.
Patchouli Joe's.
There you go. The NFC North. Last week, the Chicago Bears were the 1 seed in the NFC. This week, they are not even leading their division. The Packers have snuck in. They are 9-3-1, sitting atop the NFC North. The Bears, with their loss this week, have dropped to 9-4. Remember earlier in the year when we said that not all ties are created equal? This tie seems to be helping the Packers' position and hurting the Cowboys' position. That not having a definitive in that game, falling back to a tie for the Cowboys seems to be biting them in the backside.
Yeah.
Whereas the Packers are just smiling at 9-3-1, a half a game ahead of the Bears, who literally just fell from the 1 seed.
Yeah. Insane.
Bananas.
Going from 1 to 7
Yep.
in the playoff rankings. That's rough.
Yeah, and they are right behind them, nipping at their heels, or their division compadres, the Detroit Lions, sitting at 8-5, so they're just a game back. They're just barely hanging in, but they're still hanging in, and I think they would love nothing more than to knock the Bears out of contention.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the coach that they loved and were happy for now is coaching their division rival. So, Yeah, I got a feeling Detroit would definitely love to put Chicago out of the playoffs.
Well, they should have their chance. Here is the situation for them. They've got, of course, the Rams this week, then the Steelers at the Vikings, finishing up at the Bears, and they've got that one listed TBD. So I have a feeling that one might just get flexed into prime time
Yep.
when the time comes. So Lions do not have an easy path to get there. They're going to have to earn their way in.
Shoot, but they lit the barn on fire whenever they played Dallas, so they're hitting on all cylinders. Arguably the best running back in the National Football League right now, in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes, sir. The Bears, on the other hand, have the Browns, the Packers, of course, then the 49ers, and before they finish up with the Lions. So they don't have an easy path to get there
Oh,
either.
that's treacherous.
Yeah, so this battle for the seventh spot in the playoffs could be interesting, or it's possible that both of them end up getting bumped out because they're playing just beasts, and Panthers and Cowboys may sneak in on them.
The Lions, the Packers, the Bears. Oh my.
Oh my, absolutely. In the South, Tampa and Carolina tied at 7-6. The Falcons and Saints are officially eliminated. Moment of silence.
For who? The 7-6 teams, or
The-
the teams that are actually in good position to pick good players?
Well, one of the either Tampa Bay or Carolina is going to win the division and go into the playoffs.
And
They
get
will
eliminated
they will have
the first week of the playoffs.
they will have one more game than the other team, who is going to be sitting at home missing the playoffs, because I don't see either one of these. Tampa's too banged up. I love Baker. I don't think Carolina has, I think, overachieved this year. I don't think they've got the depth in key positions, particularly running back. Um,
This is one of those things that the NBA does better than any professional sports team. You can't tell me that a team like Tampa Bay or Carolina should make it in, and a team like Chicago or the 49ers shouldn't make it in.
yep.
No 7-6 team should beat out a 9-4 team. But of course, divisions are still the best. So
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, they actually have their fate's going to be in their hand. They've got the Falcons, um, and the Dolphins sandwiched around two Panthers games. They've got the Panthers home and away between now and the end of the year. So Tampa, Carolina is going to slug it out for their slot in the playoffs.
well, and Mike Evans is coming back, and do you know a stat as well too? He's had consecutive 100-yard seasons for the past
11 years.
11 years, and so if he wants to continue that record, he would have to average 200 yards a game for these next few games, in order to get it. So,
Sounds like something Baker would do.
golly, yeah, just funnel that ball to Mike Evans.
Yeah. Well, he got him. He made sure to get him that record last year, and the bonus that went along with it. I can't remember what the total bonus was, but there was a bonus that came with it, and Bake made sure he took care of his WR1. So yeah. So anyway, they're going to slug it out. Tampa Bay and Carolina face each other twice more during for the twice more before the end of the year. So one of them's going to go home early. One of them's going to go home a week later. I know that's really rude to say, but I think that's what's going to happen.
No, I agree entirely.
Then out in the NFC West, again, one of the ones we called at the beginning of the year, said it was going to be sort of a Donnybrook out there. Rams have surprised me, but the Rams and Seahawks are sitting at 10-3. The Rams are sitting, I think, as the number one seed right now. Yep, they are
Yeah,
the number
I
one
believe
seed in
so.
the NFC. They hold the tiebreaker over the Seahawks. So they're tied at 10-3. The Rams are 1. The Seahawks are 5 seeds if it ended today. Um, and the Rams are going to Seattle next week. So again, you've got some teams that are going to have their own fates in their fates in their own hand. And then the 49ers still lurking. They're in the 6th spot at 9-4, just a game behind the other two. Hoping that those two are going to beat up on each other and let the 49ers maybe slide in and take that division.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. Let me take a look at the rest of the year. The Rams, of course, have Lions, Seahawks, Falcons, Cardinals. So the next 2 weeks are going to be critical for them.
And then cakewalks for the next two.
See if they can hang on to that one seed, hang on to the tiebreaker over Seattle. Seattle finishes up with the Colts, the Rams, the Panthers, and the Niners as a TBD game. And the 49ers, let's see, 49ers are finishing up with Titans, Colts, Bears, and Seahawks. So yeah, the West is still not any closer to being decided.
Yup.
So good times. We are rolling into the fun time of year. Some of the teams we expected to see are there. There are some surprises. The surprise of the Colts has sort of reverted to the mean. Unfortunately for them, just injuries took them out. So
Yeah.
sad days. They are out of the top 7 in the AFC for the first time this year.
Insane.
Yep. What do you got for your top 5? Do you want to walk through the playoff matchups for
No,
the
no, no. I don't think we need to talk about playoff matchups.
too much uncertainty still to go? There's
Yeah.
the last 4 weeks are going to bring a lot of clarity.
Yeah. And now my top 5 really hasn't changed much. A little sliders, a little climbers. Patriots still are at the top of that. Of course, they didn't play this past week. I still think they got the MVP on their team. Yeah, I think the Patriots still deserve to be number 1. I will say the runner-up for MVP is my number 2 now. I got the Rams climbing back up.
Little Matty Stafford.
Yeah, I think that that offense is pretty tough to stop, and then that defense is rounded into shape. So they're my number 2. Broncos just climbed right back up to the number 3 spot. Still don't really like their offense, but just because of how they've looked defensively, I still feel like they're a top 5 team, and their record definitely proves as such. The Packers now leapfrog over the Bears, and they are my number 4 team. Starting to round into shape. They got, of course, Jaden Reed back. He's working in on that offense, and the defense still is pretty good. I wouldn't say elite just yet, but of course, they got arguably one of the best home field advantages. So the closer we get to playoffs, if they can be the top of their division, it's going to be hard to run through Lambeau. And then Chicago finishes by number 5. I'm very intrigued to see how they finish the year. I still really like what Ben Johnson has built. I think, of course, having the number 1 takeaway defense has helped that team, and of course, that offense is pretty good whenever it comes to creativity. So I got Chicago still being my number 5, with a little caveat. The Lions would be my number 6. They're knocking on the door, but having 4 or 3 teams right next to each other in one division, the NFC North is back to one of the best in the National Football League.
Absolutely. And you talked about your MVP choice. Drake May is completing 71.5% of his passes, 23 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions for 3,400 yards. However, my pick for the MVP has 35 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, slightly fewer yards at 3,354, slightly lower completion percentage of 66.7. So still completing 2/3 of his passes. And that would be Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
35-4. That's a tear.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Jordan Love also only 4 interceptions on the year.
But just look who's on New England. Can't tell me that if you put another quarterback
Put
on that Patriots team.
Devontae and Puka and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got elite weapons in the Rams, and that's not even to mention their running back. So
Well, let's roll into the matchups. I've got 2 surprise lines of the week, both road teams favored. We have Buffalo, who is 2 games behind, as we just talked about, 2 games behind the Patriots in the AFC West, favored on the road going into Foxborough. And the Packers are favored by 2.5. I think it's 2.5 in Denver. So Green Bay's won, I think, 4 in a row. But yeah, they are favored on the road against Denver. No respect for the Donkeys. Glad to see it.
it's the better team.
I think so too. The Packers won 4 in a row. Of course, the Donkeys sitting on their 10-game heater. I think that apparently the betters think that that's going to end this week as well.
Yeah.
Games of the week. Who do you got? Well, were there any surprise lines of the week for you?
Mm,
Anything jump out at you and say, yeah, that's a thing?
yeah, I kind of am surprised that Baltimore is favored on the road against Cincinnati, specifically because Joe Burrow owns Baltimore, it feels like.
Especially at home?
Yeah, so I kind of am surprised by that line. Um, but other than that, nothing really jumps off the screen. I do like to call out for Green Bay, Denver, even though I do believe Green Bay is the better team. But also it's dang near a touchdown for the Rams and Detroit, and I'm kind of surprised by that because Detroit has just been playing some good football. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting line to me too.
The sports books and the gamblers are giving the Rams their respect by picking them at five or having them at 5.5 point favorites. That one was a little surprising to me. I figured it might be something a little bit closer, but that to me, that just shows the trend that people are starting to believe in the Rams.
Yeah.
Who you got for game of the week
Game of the
or
week.
games of the week? I got a couple of them,
Yeah, I would probably have to say that Detroit Rams game is the game I'm most looking forward to. I just feel like that is two really good offenses and two kind of sneaky good defenses. So I think that that would be my game of the week this week.
Yeah, literally had that written out and erased it just simply because I think the Rams are sort of on a bit of a run right now. They're feeling themselves. Could turn out to be a good game with Detroit's defense. It's been a little spotty, just inconsistent this year, and kind of depends on which Rams defense shows up, or excuse me, which Lions defense shows up. My games of the week, I just talked trash about them in the slow lane with the surprise line. Green Bay at Denver. And I'm interested in that game because those are two teams I'm not exactly sure what we're looking at week over week. The Broncos seem to be winning with smoke and mirrors, and I know that is sounds disrespectful for Denver, and I intend it that way because I hate the Donkeys with everything in me. But they've just been it's how are they winning with that offense?
Yeah.
With Bo Nix, he's had a decent year, and it just like I said, it scares me that every week that they stick around is another week Sean Payton has to get up under Bo Nix's skin and make him a little bit better and a little bit better. And pretty soon he's just going to be good, and that's just going to suck for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
My other game of the week, Buffalo at New England. We are now getting ready to see just how good New England is. Again, surprised that Buffalo was laying points on the road in Foxborough. Um, but yeah, I think that this is a game where either Buffalo is going to stand up and say, "This is our division," or we're going to find out that New England is in fact for real, in which case Bill Simmons will never stop talking about him. So please, dear God, Josh Allen, knock the Patriots down, break their 10-game win streak. I love Bill Simmons, listen to him all the time. So if you're listening, Bill, A, good job. B, call us, man. Let's get us into the Ringer Podcast Network. Okay. Anything else before we dive into the picks?
Nah, let's hit it.
All right, man. Opening up tomorrow night, or if you're listening to this on Thursday, December 11th, just 2 short weeks away from Christmas and 3 short days away from the start of Hanukkah. We have Atlanta traveling to Tampa Bay. Atlanta has been eliminated. Tampa's laying 4.5 points on the road. What are you thinking this looks like?
If you got kids that have a choir concert or any sort of Christmas pageantry, don't miss it for this game. Please don't. This is not going to be good football. The NFC South should be banned from any sort of primetime game, even if it's a Thursday night. But needless to say, some team is going to have to win, and I think it's going to be the better team. Give me Tampa Bay 2017.
Yeah, I've got Tampa as well. 1 point difference. I've got them 21-17. Unless, of course, Baker decides he's going to start funneling the ball to Mike Evans, giving him about 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, in which case, yeah, all bets are off.
Go
Not that
get
we
that
bet.
1,000 yards, Mike Evans.
There you go. Keep that string a running. Next up, starting at the noon games, the noon swath of games are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. First one, Cleveland at Chicago. Chicago laying 7.5, more than a touchdown, as the Shadur Sanders led Cleveland Browns roll into Soldier Field.
Two of the biggest ego quarterbacks in the National Football League go squaring off. Um, yeah, Cleveland sucks. It just hate to say it, but they're not good. You lose to the Tennessee Titans. You have no chance against a 9-4 team. Give me Chicago 33-10.
Yeah, I've got them 31-21. I think that Shador is going to deliver again. And what I hope to see is that next week, Kevin Stefanski makes the decision to put Dylan Gabriel back in as the starting quarterback, put Shador on the bench, and trade him to Las Vegas as soon as the ink is dry on this 2025 NFL season.
Well, you know who's healthy again?
He's a step up.
Deshaun Watson's healthy. So,
Fine, yeah,
and I've heard the owner loves him. So,
give it to Deshaun. Just send Shador to Las Vegas.
come on, get ready for Kyler Murray, man.
Oh dear. Oh man. Why, Charlie, man, why you gotta hurt me like
Hey,
that?
number one quarterback whenever it comes to AT&T. So,
Yeah, never lost in AT&T Stadium, never won anywhere else.
yeah,
Hey-oh.
that's true.
All right, that's not true.
Should have played for the A's.
All right. Yeah, I'd have liked him then. All right, next up, Baltimore going to Cincinnati to take on the Joe Burrow-led Bengals. As Charlie mentioned, Baltimore laying 2.5 points on the road
Shocking. Joe
in the
Burrow
Natty.
owns Baltimore. He
Yeah.
just owns them. T. Higgins might be out with a concussion. I still don't care. Give me Cincinnati 24-20.
More balls for Chase. I've got Cincinnati winning this 24-21 as well. Lamar is too much of a fighter. He's not going to go down without a fight. I just don't think they've got enough horses to beat Cincinnati on the road. Houston laying 9.5 at home against your Arizona Cardinals, not led by Kyler Murray.
My
So,
Arizona Cardinals.
yeah,
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever been a supporter of them.
I
I
wouldn't
think
do that
that's
to
the
you
only Super Bowl that I've actually rooted for the Steelers, if I'm not
when
mistaken.
they played the Cardinals.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
shocking. Um, that's just because Arizona used to be in the division whenever I was a kid with Cowboys.
Yep.
And so I've
The old NFC East.
never really liked them. I think the only one that I've truthfully liked from Arizona is Larry Fitz, and how could you not like him? So,
Yeah.
needless to say, they don't have Larry Fitz right now. And even if they did, they lose to the Houston Texans. So I got Houston winning 23-14. Jacoby Brissett's run of being a serviceable fantasy quarterback finally comes to an end.
I agree with you, and I think the Texans are going to cover this. I think they're going to win at 28-17, possibly more if CJ stops dribbling before halftime.
Well, they've been winning as of late, so I think basketball has ceased in Houston.
I'm thinking D'Amico Ryans may have called CJ aside, said, "Put the damn basketball down, son."
You're not Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, going to the AFC South, leading Jacksonville Jaguars are the hapless New York Football Jets. Jacksonville favored by almost 2 touchdowns, laying 13.5 at home against the Jets. Are the Jets going to get within 2 touchdowns of the Jaguars?
Yeah, to start the game.
Kickoff.
Yeah. But no, I got Jacksonville running away with this game 31-10. New York just doesn't have anything that makes me feel like they want to win games.
Yeah, and I've got to say, one of the most hurtful things anybody has ever said to me came from you this past week. And I just figured I need to call you out. We need to talk this through. I need to get this off my chest. When you said that the Jaguars turned the corner when they finally got a wide receiver one in the form of Jacoby Myers,
Yep.
who, of course, the Raiders traded to the Jaguars at the trade deadline, hurt my heart, Rope, but you're not wrong.
Yep.
So, yeah, Trevor is starting to look like a consistent NFL quarterback. Let's see if he can keep it up. If he keeps it up for another week, I may actually have to start rocking my Jaguars gear from my days as a season ticket holder in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and they got a two-headed horse there in the running back room.
Yeah, they do.
Travis Etienne and Brashel Tootin.
They are starting to see Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
is starting.
Duval.
We're starting to see what he brought from, or what he was bringing to Tampa. Now he's brought it up to Jacksonville. Let's go Jags. Duval.
Ah, that's the correct way to say it.
There you go.
Sorry, I only follow Liam Cohen, so
Yeah, Liam Cohen. He better,
Duval.
by the end of the year, he better have it figured out.
Yeah.
Next up, Chargers going into Kansas City. For some reason, Kansas City is still a favorite of the bettors, the gamblers. They are laying 4.5 at home against the Chargers. Is that the right thing?
Yeah, Chargers have a fun way of being just like the Dallas Cowboys, and that's beating both of the Super Bowl teams last year. I think they have a decent shot, but December in Arrowhead is tough to win. So yeah, give me Kansas City, just getting that moral victory, and kind of potentially maybe riding Andy Reid off into the sunset.
Yep, I think that they're not fully eliminated from playoff contention just yet, but a whole lot's going to have to go right if they're going to get there. They are sitting right now 6-7, so they're 2 full games behind the Texans. They've got to jump the Ravens at 6-7 and the Colts at 8-5. I think the Colts will do their part and meet the Chiefs if the Chiefs decide to go on a 4-game burner to end the season. I think that if nothing else, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will have them playing for pride. Hopefully they have cut Harrison Butker by this point, given his poor performance on the field and off. And I think the Chiefs are going to be playing for pride at this point in the season. I've got them winning this one, a close one, 28-27 over the Chargers.
It'd be so good if Kansas City replaces them with a women kicker. God, I would love that.
That would be lovely. She can make sandwiches afterwards, huh, Harrison?
No, he can make the sandwiches.
There you go. All right, the game of the week, or one of my games of the week this week, Buffalo going into New England as the favorite, laying a 1.5 to the division leading 10-game win streak New England Patriots.
Yeah.
You,
Give me the team that knows how to win championships. New England. I got them winning this ball game, 27-23.
Vrabel Coach of the Year?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he's kept them going. Steichen, of course, did a great job, but you can only do so much. He only has so much bubblegum and baling wire to keep that team together at this point in the season.
And I wonder how many coaches have won Coach of the Year for 2 different teams.
Yeah, we'd have to we'll look into that for next week. That
Yeah.
sounds like a good battle. Maybe we'll make our postseason award predictions next week too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Bills winning this one at home, 24-21.
Our first game that we have gone against each other.
Yeah, I've got I think the Bills are going to do it. I think that it is time to see whether it's the Bills step up and say it's our division, or if New England's for real.
Yeah.
All right. If I was still playing IDC cards or DNC cards, this would be the one. A noon game, Washington at the New York Football Giants. Somebody's favored. The Giants are favored by 2.5 at home. Does anybody care about this game?
These are my 2 most hated teams in the National Football League. So really the winner of this game is the team that I'm going to like the most. The loser, I hope they get a worse draft pick than this loss. But yeah, give me Washington. I just think that they are better coached. I feel like they care a little bit more about winning, and more because I hate the New York Football Giants.
I hear you. I think that the advantage is going to go to the Giants, given that Jaden Daniels is out. Jackson Dart will be back. Still no Cam Scatterboot.
Hey, Marcus Mariota's looked like a better quarterback than Jaden Daniels this year.
Yeah, well, Jaden Daniels hasn't been healthy all year long.
That's true.
And having been through the Marcus Mariota experience, I think he is one of the top tier backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he can step up and fill a void. Sort of like Nick
Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, Big Dick Nick. Nick Foles.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Eagles Super Bowl winning quarterback.
You didn't have to say the team.
Yeah, but that was that's who Mariota sort of reminds me of. At least from the waist up. All right, moving right along. Vegas, my beloved silver and black traveling to Philadelphia. Philly favored by 11 and a half. Probably not enough. What do you think you're going to see this week?
Just win, baby. Come on. Come on. Do it. Do it for everybody that is a Cowboy Raider fan. Come on. We just need it. We need that Philadelphia loss to a top five drafting team. I just need it in my veins. Let's completely kickstart the Jalen Hurts campaign to be ousted as quarterback of Philadelphia. Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Give me the Eagles,
Yeah,
33-17.
yeah, I'm with you too, almost by the same score. As much as I would love to see the Raiders, I think there's a certain element who understand what's at stake for them continuing to lose, which hurts my heart. Nowhere in Al Davis's history did he ever even scribble on a note, just lose, baby. So I think that it's just not in their nature. But I also don't see them having the talent. Their offensive line is so battered. I want to talk. Let me jump back to Kansas City. Kansas City was down three starting offensive linemen at the beginning of the game this last week. On the first play of the game, they lost to fourth. That may bite them in the ass at home against the Chargers. Anyway, sorry, jumping forward. Speaking of bad offensive lines, the Raiders, I just don't think they've got to enough weapons on offense to hold the to do any damage against that Philly defense. So I've got Eagles winning this one 31-17 with another late final seconds field goal that means absolutely nothing at the end of the game, just like last week. So I've got the Eagles 31-17. Moving on, the slow and a game of the week for me. Green Bay at Denver. Green Bay laying 2.5 points, favored by almost a field goal on the road in Denver. What the heck, man?
Yeah, I think Green Bay is one of those hot and cold teams. I feel like whenever you start to think that they are one of the best in the National Football League, they come back down to earth. I think that this game is the epitome of a trap game. Give me Denver 23-20.
I agree. This is a trap game. However, I think it's to trap Denver.
Hmm.
We talked about Matthew Stafford and Drake May earlier this year on their performance. We would be remiss not to mention Jordan Love. 22 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 67% completion, over 3,000 yards. He has quietly had a stellar year. I think probably his best by far. I think that with Josh Jacobs, he's a little dinged up at this point of the year. I think every running back is. They don't have a whole lot to help Josh Jacobs with that. But I think the Packers have got enough. They are finally going to knock the donkeys down. And I got the Packers winning this one in a close one, 28-24. Next up, were the next 325 games. Got a great late slate of games. Detroit going to the Rams out in SoFi. Rams favored by 5.5 on the road. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game. I just think that these are two really solid teams, like we mentioned, or I mentioned for my game of the week. I think that the Lions really showed something offensively, and I feel like the Rams are really good. So I'm very intrigued to see kind of the measuring stick of this game. I think there's one team that's a little bit more desperate than the other. Both are in very packed divisions. But I think Detroit kind of wants to win a little bit more than the Rams do. So give me the Lions 27-24.
Yeah, it's almost like Dan Campbell wanted to be in this position where he knew his team would have to scrap to bite the knees of their opponents to get back into the race here. I also think this is the time of year that Jared Goff is built for. I think he'll make some boneheaded interceptions at various points, but his calm demeanor, his never too high, never too low demeanor, I think, is built for December football. However, I think there's just too much there in SoFi. Matt Stafford is having a tremendous year. He's got the weapons at wide receiver. He's got Kyron Williams at running back. Kyron Williams? Kyron?
Yep.
Yeah. I could never remember if it's Kieran or Kyron. Kieran Williams at running back. So I think the Rams just have too much offense. They're going to take it to the Lions. It's going to be, um, yeah, Matthew Stafford's ascension into the final run for the MVP. Rams 31-21.
Yeah, this is the Matthew Stafford Jared Goff trade. So both of these teams' quarterback know both of these organizations really well.
Yes, sir. And we started off the discussion, the picks, with one bad NFC South team a game, and we're moving on to another scrappy Carolina Panthers. They are going into New Orleans. They're favored by 2.5 points. Uh, Saints have been showing a little bit of spark lately. What do you think?
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking this is my first I don't care of the year. I'm
Ooh,
throwing it out there.
playing the IDC card.
It's IDC.
Yeah. I have the Panthers winning this one 21-17. I would not be horribly surprised to see the Saints uh, sneak it out. Tyler Shuck has proved to be a fan favorite. Sort of reminds me back of the old Bobby Bear days when you had a quarterback that nobody believed in stepping into the starting role and energizing that New Orleans fan base. So I could see this being a good game, but I've got the Panthers winning this. Panthers are on a mission. I got the win in this one 21-17. Good play. Excellent play of the ADC.
Yeah, yeah. I just really don't care.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of I don't care, the Indianapolis fans are going to have to travel out to Seattle if they're going to see their Colts this week. Seattle favored by 13.5 against Indianapolis. I don't see any possible way Indianapolis can get within 13.5 points of the Seahawks.
Indianapolis should have called up Matt Hasselbeck and seen if he could play for him. Might have given him more intel on Seattle. Yeah, Seattle's a way better team, even if Sam Darnold throws 17 picks. They're still going to win games. So give me Seattle 28-14.
I think this is one of those Seattle games where we're going to see if they are a serious contender. Do they absolutely put their foot on the neck of an opponent they should dominate? We'll find out if they do. Not sure how Indianapolis is going to score 10 points in this game, but I've got Seahawks winning this one 31-10. And again, don't know how they're going to get the 10. It's maybe Jonathan Taylor will run wild for part of the first quarter.
Hard defense to run on.
Yeah, they are. That Seattle defense has served me well in fantasy football, and they are serving the fans of Seattle well as well. Okay, next up, we've got Tennessee going to San Francisco. The 49ers favored by 12.5 against the Tennessee Titans, the victorious Tennessee Titans who were victorious over the Browns. Yeah, what do you think?
This is another line that kind of surprised me. Tennessee's just playing better ball. I don't think 12.5 is, I don't think it's going to be that dramatic of a win for San Fran. I still got San Francisco winning. I just got them winning 27-20. But Tennessee's starting to show a little bit of life, and then having something to prove.
Yeah, I see Tennessee. Cam Ward certainly is showing why he was the number one pick. Starting to figure out the NFL. Looks like it's starting to slow down for him. He's doing the things that I think Tennessee expected him to do. Again, there's just not enough else to go with him. So I've got the 49ers winning this one handily 31-17. Next up, the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy-led Vikings, coming down to Arlington to take on your beloved Silver and blue Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 6.5 against the Vikings at home.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy likes to call himself 9. There's only one true 9, and that's Tony Romo. Yeah, Minnesota is just a team that is just what's the future look like for them? Because they threw all their eggs in the basket for JJ McCarthy. That's looking like to be a train wreck. Dallas, it's a must-win game. All of these next games for Dallas are must-wins. So I got Dallas winning 33-17.
Yeah, I've got the Cowboys taking this one fairly handily, 31-20. I agree. I think that Minnesota is in something of a mess. I think their coaching situation may see some shakeups this offseason, but
And that might
Kevin O'Connell.
be just like Vrabel being ousted. I think that that's more of an organizational failure than it is a coaching failure. Kevin O'Connell, I think, is an underrated coach, a very bright offensive mind, and I think you put him on a team with a better organization. Hey, put him in Vegas. I
Well,
think
that's
that
exactly,
might be a very smart outcome.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe subliminally, I'm hoping that the Vikings fire Kevin O'Connell and Spytek and Mark Davis scramble to pick him up and give Pete his pineapple cake and say thanks and give him a pack of gum and move on with O'Connell. That would be, yeah, that would be swell.
Yeah, any coach that hires Chip Kelly deserves to also be on a hot seat.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I've got the Cowboys taking this one 31-20 fairly handily. Finally, the Monday night game. Boy, this was a borderline IDC. Um, Miami at Pittsburgh. Flavored. Pittsburgh favored by 3.5 at home against the Dolphins. Dolphins showing some signs of life. Still not a team that I would pay to watch, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers seems to be doing the trick in Pittsburgh.
Trying to think of all the different players that have gone from Pittsburgh to Miami and Miami to Pittsburgh. I'll call it the Joey Porter game, maybe Minka Fitzpatrick game,
There you go.
Jalen Ramsey, I guess. But yeah, Pittsburgh's a better team. Miami, yeah, is kind of snuck back into things, even though they buried themselves pretty early on. But Pittsburgh, I just feel like is a better team. So give me them 23-17.
Yeah, Dolphins are hanging around just shy of 500. They haven't
I'm
been eliminated.
shocked.
Yeah, I know, right? They're sitting at 6-7. They looked so bad at the beginning of the year. Tua seems to be stabilized out a little bit, but I've got Pittsburgh winning this one in a close one, 24-21. And that is it for week 15. What are you looking forward to most this week, Charlie?
Ooh, looking forward to most this week. I think, can we see another snow game? I think that Buffalo, Cincinnati game kind of tickled my fancy whenever it comes to, December football. So I want to see more snow games. I want to see, people sitting in the blistering cold. Maybe we get that, in Pittsburgh on Monday night, but, yeah, I want more cold football.
Yeah, possibly Foxborough, possibly Soldier Field in Chicago. There's a couple of potential snow games. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it is the most truly the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, indeed.
Well, for those of you who celebrate Hanukkah, we wish you a happy Hanukkah starting on Monday. No, excuse me, Sunday, the 14th. So that's 14th is Sunday, I
I
think.
believe so, yep.
Yeah. Um, So happy Hanukkah. Those who celebrate Christmas, a couple weeks later, or less than 2 weeks after that, Christmas will be rolling on. Before you know it, we'll be rolling into 2026. I think we've recently learned what my 2026 is going to be consumed with. Need to make time for our podcasts, but yeah, might as well mention it. I am running for state office here in the state of Texas. Um, Next year. I am unopposed in the primary. It's going to be a scrappy Republican primary, and then I will face whoever emerges from that. Um, First time I've done this. It's going to be an exciting challenge. I'm looking forward to it. So, anyway, that's going to consume a lot of 2026. So, let's enjoy the football while we can.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we will be back here next week with the week 16 picks as Charlie and I in search of 650, trying to get up to the 65% range. We hope you continue to watch. We hope you listen to and watch the rest of our podcasts on the Patchouli Podcast Network. And until next week, let's go silver and black.
Go silver and blue.
All right. Peace, everybody. Love you. Bye.
This is the Patchouli Podcast Network.